How's it going, people just coming in here? Hey, Kathy. I'm going live here on YouTube as well. Hello, Anna, Judy, I'm sure you do. How goes it, 19 can? Hello, Bill. Hello, Beck McGee. How we doing? Hello, Marihana's Hope, if I'm saying that correctly. Hey, Jennifer, Gretchen, Amber, Julia, Kelly, Country Girl. Close enough. Hey, Susan. Hello, Vicky. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm waiting for just some more people to come in here on TikTok. Hey, Jeff. How's everybody doing tonight? Hello, Christina. So, I'm doing a Q&A tonight for a little while. If you don't know who I am and you're just coming in, my name's Sean Austin. I am a paranormal investigator, demonologist, author. I also have medium abilities. Been doing this about 12 years. And I'm doing this, and I do this on and off to answer people's questions about the paranormal, where you can actually ask me questions about the paranormal, share a story. And I know on TikTok you can actually join in with me and go live, and I welcome you to do that. Ask me some questions or share a story. I've never done that before, so if someone wants to come and ask me a question, you can do that, and hopefully don't get any trolls playing games. I appreciate if you just come in here to like this video, share it out, give me a follow. I will be discussing some crazy, awesome plans this month to investigate live here on TikTok and also on YouTube. It's going to be about a 4 or 5 day in a row investigating, starting next Friday. I'm going on a big paranormal road trip, and I'll be live investigating for hours and hours every night with my buddy Epic Eric. Hey, James. Yeah, so going all into the spooky season here in October. Hello, Beverly. Peggy, how we doing? Peggy, have a ghost in the house. He touched my hand in the shower, but don't know how to communicate. Well, most of the time, human spirits are looking to get acknowledgement. They're trying to connect and feel like they're human and alive again. So that's why they kind of reach out from the other side to try to get their message across for whatever that reason is. And sometimes it's not a good reason; it might be for another reason. Hello, Vicky. Appreciate, guys, if you're sharing this out. Welcome to anyone that's just coming in here. Anything you want to ask me about paranormal, ghosts, hauntings, demons, I welcome you to do that. And I will be streaming some more haunted locations this week. And again, next week is really when the crazy trip's going to start. And then hello from Maine. I actually plan to go up to Maine at some point, I believe this month too. Bucksport. So yeah, anyone have an experience with a ghost? Why do spirits hang around? There's many diversified reasons why people die that could equate to tragedy. Whatever the reason it is that they haven't been able to let go of their human life that they once lived, and they become consciously, energetically, and emotionally stuck, per se, with the life that they once lived, and they can't let go, whether they're attached to a location, an object. Are they afraid of judgment? Were they robbed of their life and were they killed? So just imagine how many different ways that people actually pass away, which could equate to what we call a ghost. You really need some help? What's going on? Hey, Margaret. Um, you would feel if it was something negative because you'd feel the oppressive energy and feel uncomfortable in your own home. It would not um, feel good. Do you think demons mimic people, causing you to think people with familiar spirits? Um, Absolutely. I have proof of this on a documentary that I just released recently called Malefice. It's actually a true demonic haunting story that I wrote about in my first book, Shadow Chaser. Hello, Feathers of Angels. Um, and I have proof of it. I've experienced it before, coming through the box, mimicking my friends and people and colleagues in the field that I've investigated with, literally mocking us, mimicking the voices and stuff like that. And that's something that the demonic definitely do. Shadow people, I know there's a lot of different people that have different opinions about shadow people and what they are and stuff. My experience with shadow people per se is usually a negative connotation that comes with it. It's usually not a good type of spirit. There are balls of light that I see even with my own eyes, and even we capture sometimes on camera that's legitimately paranormal, that come in different colors. Yes, Trish, definitely. That represents some sort of emotional energy that it has. Is it negative? Is it full of rage? Is it evil? Usually, if it's evil, I've seen red, black, or dark brown, or like a goldish color or orange. That could be something that is full of rage, angry, or evil and malevolent in nature. Hello from Alabama. Where's the scariest place I've been? I've been to a lot of places across the country. There's a place that I wrote about in my first book. Unfortunately, they knocked it down. I always talk about it. It's called Revenant Acres. It was a farmhouse, and this is a place where they mimicked our voice. This is a place where you could look even up on YouTube of people getting possessed there, and you can look at the video and know that's legit. The guy contorts his arm. He's drooling in the mouth. His voice sounds like has layers to it. And when I went there, my buddies took me there. I wasn't prepared how nasty it was, to the point where we actually left the investigation because we were just poking something evil. We had putrid, you know, just nasty um, smells that has no rational explanation for it coming through. It mimicked our voices. I felt it try to possess me. Half my body had pins and needles, and we threw holy water all around, and then the whole house shook. We heard like footsteps coming up the stairs when we were upstairs, and heard all this crazy like whispering. We knew that we had to leave. We knew that we were, poking this thing, and the next thing that was going to happen was one of us was going to get possessed. It was the only time that I've ever left investigation that it was get so bad. And I was with two of my friends in the field that have been doing this for 30 years, and they left as well. It's pretty insane. So sorry if the chat goes quickly. And again, thank you guys if you're coming here. Give me a follow and a like to this video. Share it out. And I'll try to do these little Q&As to answer your questions about the paranormal. Jeff has a question. I just lost my pet. Any way I can have hope that she can manifest itself and come back? I've actually had my dog come to me, my old dogs. I've had visions, experiences, visitations. I don't know if there's something specific you could do that could make that happen. But I have had experiences with my old pets, their spirit coming to me in my bed. I actually felt my old dog licking me in my face before as well. So 100% do I believe that animals do live on, and their spirits as well, and that's something to be comforting about. The place I was talking about was in Indiana. They did knock it down. Hello from Columbus, Ohio. Can a spirit go through a time portal to go back and warn of a tragedy? James, no, a spirit has, I think there's rules that apply to the spirits, and there's rules that apply to us in the earthly plane. And that's why our souls are kind of stuck in this physical vessel, if you will. And, that's something that I don't think they're allowed to do, to interfere with something in the earthly plane, because God made this where our free will of the humans that are living to make those decisions that actually create ripple effects into the world from our decisions from the souls that are living in the human body. So I do not believe that they can affect that. It's an interesting question, though. Yeah, look it up on YouTube. If you type in Revenant Acres possession, you can see that there's a place, the possession I was talking about from that place. I had my dog Sissy Spirit open her kennel door. That's awesome. I've seen some really awesome evidence of people over the years, um, of their pets still being around. And again, that's something that's very comforting. Is it bad to have ashes of loved ones in your home? I mean, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. Is it something that could bring about something? Was the person a good person? Is it just the person that you care about and you're just honoring them and having them in your house? I don't think that's a necessarily a bad thing. Um, is there some things that could happen like that if I mean, I would associate with the person if they had, if they weren't a good person in life, that could be some sort of association that could bring about something potentially. But overall, I don't think it's a bad thing. Hello, Justin. Hey, Alfred. Can ghosts hurt you physically? I've been scratched. I've been pushed. I've been punched in the face in my bed. I've been pulled out of my bed by my ankle. The physical attacks are really not as delicate as the psychological and emotional attacks that they can actually do to you. That's the part that's the most dangerous element, in my opinion, of the paranormal. Can something come through the phone like during a live? No, I get that question a lot. Um, So the only thing that I would say is it possible? Of course, these things can. They can manipulate anything that's electrical. But overall, if someone's just watching something, I think what can happen is that you start to watch these videos, you start to watch these investigations, these shows or live feeds or whatever it is. When you start to open up yourself into the paranormal and start to believe in it, I believe that your aura changes in that process, and in that process, you can attract spirits and paranormal experiences by doing that. So in that manner, yes. Now, if you have abilities, psychic abilities, that could take that to a whole new level, and that's a whole other ball game as well. Revenant Acres. If you went back to the land and Revenant Acres, do you think the original spirits to roam there? These houses get knocked down and stuff, and do I think that there's still residual energy still there? Absolutely. To what degree? I wouldn't know unless I went there. The craziest thing I ever saw with you when that spirit rode with you in your car at the investigation, I forget where you were going. Yes, that was amazing. That was a positive experience that I had. I was on my way to a place called Hillview Manor, and I was being tapped in my car constantly, just constantly being tapped. And I just to the point I heard a certain name, and I used my radio in my car as a makeshift spirit box, and I'm asking if this I forget the name that I heard, but I'm like, "Are you this person?" And the name came, "That's me." And I'm like, "Why are you following me?" And they said that, um, we're waiting for you to bring the light. And I usually pray for spirits, and I'm sure now that I've been kind of live investigating a little bit on TikTok this past week, you probably see me praying for spirits. It's something I offer all the time. I try to show respect to spirits, and it was really amazing that the spirits from this place came to me in the car and were waiting for me to pray for them. And when I got there, when I investigated there, they said they were waiting for me. Very positive experience to a place that I did go investigate that time, and that was very fascinating. Hello, Brandy. Have you ever helped a spirit crossover? Well, Wendy, yes. From praying that many times for spirits, I've had evidence and feelings of crossing over spirits. This is not something that we can definitively prove, but do I believe I have helped quite a few spirits cross over? Yes, I do. There's a documentary that just came out based on this story that I crossed over two spirits from a demonic force and an evil man that tortured and killed these women in life, and it seeked revenge against me for many years, and it wanted to mess with my personal relationship. So I knew I had to return back to this location, and I actually, went back to this place. We investigated for 4 days, and I performed an exorcism ritual on the house to ultimately rid myself and this location from the evil force that had permission to be there. If you want to watch it, you can download the free app Scare Network and onto your Fire Stick or Apple TV and rent it for a few bucks, or you could get a signed DVD from me from my website anywhere in the US, SeanDAustin.com. It's called Malefice, Malefice. Watch the trailer on YouTube. It's a really crazy story. The Spirit Box and Ovilus really work. Yes, absolutely. I love ITC devices. Um, you know, Anything that can get definitive communication with spirits. Um, 1, 2, 3, and also with some of the things that I'm sensitive to. I want to have some of the scientific equipment correlate to things that I pick up psychically to validate what I'm picking up. Because I consider my own self my own piece of equipment on investigations as well. And the spirit box and using it and realizing that during these investigations, getting against validation not just to whatever it may be, but to definitive questions and getting undeniable results from it. What does it mean when a spirit scratches you? Um, yes, it's insane. The cemetery video on my TikTok right now, if you watch the one that says apparition caught, it's insane. It's where Ed and Lorraine Warren are buried. It's one of the craziest captures I've ever captured in my years of investigating. You see a white figure, a person in the, in the form of smoke glide right past me. It's insane. Watch it. But back to the scratch thing, it's a physical attack. What the intention of that spirit is speculative. You don't know what truly it means because it could be associated to the characteristics of the location you're investigating. It could just be a malevolent force that has permission to be there. That's kind of marking you for further attacks. So it's not just one answer. So it just depends. Thank you. Appreciate that. Can spirits communicate through dreams? That is the easiest way that spirits can actually communicate, um, because your subconscious mind is fully awake and your rational mind is fully asleep. And these spirits know this, and they will come to you during this time period because they know the best chance for you to pick up on their presence, to get their message across to you, to telepathically project, and they can influence your dreams where you could have visitations from your loved ones. And that's why I tell people, if you're thinking about your loved ones, if you're having dreams about them, then take note to it that they may actually be visiting you. It might be a symbolic thing, it might be a prediction, or it might be something literal and just try to let you know that they're okay. So, absolutely. I believe in the apps. I remember using Ghost Radar the first time when I started investigating the paranormal. Spirits, in my opinion, can manipulate anything that's paranormal. And again, use it to your own discretion. Be objective about what you hear. And I wouldn't say everything that comes through is a spirit, but base it on your own individual experience. And I'll use anything that I get results with. And again, I believe spirits can manipulate anything that's electrical. Um, yes, I've met him before, James. Um, so Um, is it okay to try to communicate with the spirit, or could it allow more to come into my house? I go on residential cases and try to help families that are dealing with different things. And, after blessing the home or whatever I'm doing, I try to tell them to not acknowledge things in their home because acknowledgement energizes spirits and they will bring about more things. More things can come back in your house, or you could bring back the spirits that were once there before if they were negative. They're looking for ways back in, and these things know that. There's no conception of time in the spirit realm, and we'll use that to our advantage and try to influence people to do stuff in their home. Your house, your home is your sanctuary, and it shouldn't be a playground or laboratory where you're constantly doing it. And if you choose to do that, that's up to you, but you have to realize what that comes with it if you're constantly investigating your place, where it is a risk. We do take risks as investigators going to haunted locations in general, but with your home and constantly, using devices and using methods to actually communicate with things, that puts you in that position. Some spirits use energy to manifest. Is there a great device that you use to make your own investigation location have more energy? There's things that we use, Jeff, things like an EM pump, which actually emits electromagnetic energy outward. Because a lot of us believe as researchers that this is something that the spirits manipulate and extract energy from to manifest, or do whatever they do to try to show us their presence or move things or knock or whatever it may be. I've never had a dream of my dad or mom that passed, but I did have a dream of my sister. You know, say for instance, like the first time I ever met Lorraine Warren, if you know the movie The Conjuring, I met her for the first time, and I was having a spiritual awakening, and I asked her, and I was like, I'm having these abilities. What's your advice? She said to leave a notebook next to you while you're sleeping, and to take note of it. And it's very true because when you're sleeping, have these dreams and these visions, it's almost like it's like you remember it. Damn, that was a crazy lightning bolt. I just saw a flash, and I'm like, okay. Anyways, that just sets the mood. Anyways, so when you're sleeping and you have these visions, it's kind of like you're drunk because you remember it while it's happening, but after the fact, you might not remember it. So if you wake up in the middle of the night and have a vision, it would be good to write it down or in a notepad in your cell phone to take note of this vision so you can actually use it at a later date because it might make sense later on, or something that you can realize that you may have forgotten if you did wake up and forgot to do so. How do I find someone to check out strange things happening in my house? Well, it depends where you live. You got to be really careful because there's a lot of people out there that really don't know what they're doing, and they'll use your location or house just to get attention and get on TV. There are a lot of reputable people out there. You just have to figure out who it is. Well, you can send. That's not far from me, Jose. Send me a private email. Sean D Austin at Gmail. Let me know what's going on. Cool, Tweety. I'll check it out. Yeah, that was a loud bang right next to me. What or why caused you to start investigating? Do get that a lot too. And again, thank you anyone that's just coming in here. Give me a follow. Share this out to anyone who wants to talk to me about the paranormal and prepare them for the investigations that I will be live streaming all this month coming up. It's going to be pretty wild. Um, I in the process of trying to prove to a friend of mine that is a skeptic, I took him to a cemetery that had a local legend of three women in white that would chase you out the cemetery, and in the process, I got my first EVP of a little girl in front of a little girl's grave, and um, she said my two toys died in a little girl's voice, and I didn't know I had this recording until the next night, and I was terrified, but I was also exhilarated, and it was my trigger into wanting to investigate the paranormal. And 2 to 3 weeks after that experience, I saw a shot of a little girl in the corner of my bed. It was even sunny out in the morning. I yelped out like a little girl, and again, it was my trigger, and I started going out to cemeteries, investigating, figuring out specific questions to ask to get specific answers. I started reading books. The first book I read was Ed Ray Warren's Demonologist book, and John Zavis's book, and Ralph Sarchi's book, Beware the Night, which became the movie Delivers from Evil, which Eric Bana stars in as a cop. The real Ralph Sarchi is my mentor in demonology, and who has taught me, a lot about that, and that's what made me become a demonologist. So it's really just a catalyst of so many things that happen over the years. Sorry, guys, I'm making this chat's kind of crazy. It is fascinating. It's healthy to be a skeptic, but I think it's also good to be open to all possibilities. I don't mind talking with skeptics and stuff, but the skeptics that actually condescend and look down upon you as if they are, you are stupid and dumb, and then I have a problem with that. It's just like, look, can we agree to disagree? It's all about firsthand experience. Yes, I'm a demonologist. It's it's what we call the work. It's dealing with the demonic, having a knowledge about the characteristics of their haunting and how to help people, dealing with that sort of thing overall. What do you think about the young people on YouTube going to haunted places? I mean, it's all dangerous and risky stuff. I am very disappointed in um, a lot of the young people going on YouTube who used to be just urban explorers, and now they see that the paranormal is like a universal interest, and they want to get attention from it, and they fake stuff. They fake stuff to get attention. They make a bad name for people like myself who are truly passionate about the subject. Um, just for the sake of getting, notoriety. I care about what I do, and being in the opportunity to come on here and speak to people like yourself, all of you guys, to share my knowledge, share my experiences, and bring spiritual awareness to what I do and how I do things, just the way I was taught. And when I was in that position with some of you guys, and just watching the shows and being interested in it, even if I'm helping one person or thousands of people, you're still making a difference, and you have the right intent to go out there and try to help whoever you encounter on this planet. And that's been my calling, and to be involved in the paranormal and demonology, and just doing that however I can. Yes, my YouTube right now is live right now too. So if you go to, you can either go right to my TikTok profile and click the link there, or just search in YouTube Sean Austin Paranormal, SeanAustin Paranormal. And in these investigations coming up, I will be live investigating both on TikTok and YouTube at some really crazy haunted locations, including Bobby Mackey's, which I've been to before 3 other times. It'll be my fourth time there. It's the most haunted bar in America. That's where we're ending our trip next a week from Monday. So if you want to watch that, we're going to be live investigating from there as well. How do you control your fear when you have an experience? So in the beginning, yeah, I investigate with different people at different times. In the beginning, I was terrified because I was way over my head. I didn't know what was happening, and I was trying to, unravel the mystery. But things were coming to me. I was having dark experiences, and but now where I stand today is my faith. I've heard about the Palmer House, but I haven't been there before. My faith is what protects me when I go to these places. You have to have a spiritual foundation because you cannot fight these things with fists or guns. And these things know your weakness, they know your past, and they will use that against you from the shadows, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually. Um, I am a Catholic religious demonologist, so yes, that would be the case. Um, I wear this blessed St. Michael pendant right here. You see right here, it's been blessed. It's been touched by the relic of the true cross that Jesus was crucified on. Anything it touches is considered a third class relic. And they mention my pendant in a lot of places. Actually, last night while I was live on TikTok and YouTube, they were mentioning my pendant quite a few times. And this is something that happens sporadically on and off. Thoughts and Zach Bagans, they paved the way for many people. I watched that show. I was impressed with them when I was watching paranormal shows for many years, but I never went out and investigated. But they get some really crazy evidence. You got to respect what they've done. When it blows up to a certain point, people like to criticize. And I've been on TV too. I've been on a Travel Channel show 2 years ago. If you have Discovery Plus, I was on a show called Ghost Loop, and also Demon Files, which Ralph Sarchi from the movie Deliverance from Evil. I was an investigator for him. And I know the stuff that goes on TV and stuff like that, and it's like some things you're not in control of, but you know, um, I think they get some really insane evidence. But that's why I love doing live investigations because there is no editing in what we do, and it shows that like I don't need to um, I don't need to exaggerate anything, and I would never do that anyways. I let people make their own assessment. Hey Tracy, um, I'm from New York. I'm from Westchester, so I've been to a bunch of New York places, and actually Halloween weekend it's looking like it's going to be all upstate New York, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Hello, Stephanie. Um, so yes. Hey, Boom Baby, I'm doing all right. How you doing? And again, thank you guys. If you're just coming in here, make sure if you can share this out, like this video, and appreciate the new follows if you're just coming in. Alfred, I know you were pretty terrified at the Hartford house. Do you let others come out with you? Um, yeah, I mean, I have. Am I? The Warrens were pioneers of the paranormal field. I have nothing but respect for them. They paved the way for many of us in the field. I wish I could have met Ed. Um, so yeah, nothing but respect there. I went to Salem once, and I definitely plan to go back. Over the past 5 years, we've seen amazing live evidence that you have that has turned many skeptic people into educated, changed people. Definitely, Kelly. Definitely. If you watch the apparition video I have on my TikTok and my right here, that is the cemetery where the Warrens are buried, and it was literally like not far from their grave. Definitely. Thank you guys for all the little roses and stuff. This is the first time I'm really doing some live stuff on TikTok. So I'm just getting accustomed to how things work on here, guys. So hello, Jamie. It's labeled apparition caught on video. I think it's like the third video that's posted on my TikTok, most recent. It's one of my most recent one. I put it on YouTube as well. Someone throw me sunglasses on me. What do you think about Ghost Adventures? Yeah, I enjoyed that show for many years. Um, Nowadays, I mean, I really don't have that much time to watch a lot of paranormal shows, though. I'm kind of doing it myself. I kind of enjoy having the firsthand experience rather than watching other people do it. in Illinois. Your mom's a paranormal investigator. Very cool. Thank you, Beverly. Yes, it's nuts. I don't know Bishop Long, so I don't like to judge anybody. I know of some of his work. I know he's been on Ghost Adventures back in the day, and he's helped them. What's the correct way to keep demonic spirit away from your dreams? Well, before sleeping, you can see the Archangel Michael prayer. You can do a visualization of white light around your bed. That's something I usually say, the Archangel Michael prayer every night. Brushy Mountain Penitentiary. No, I have not. Can spirits touch, move things, or would that be a demon? Sorry, don't know much about the paranormal. Human spirits can move physical items. If it was a demonic spirit, it would be something that even a human couldn't move on their own. That I'd be looking for to take more closer look at. Yeah, nice. Go for it. I'm not missing over here. Oop, all this chat I didn't see. Scariest place I've been. Would you go back? I'd go back to any place. I'm actually going back to places on these trips coming up this month that I've been to that are really nuts. Bobby Mackey's, um, Hinsdale House, another one I'm going back to. Bergen House. Wait till you guys see these places and hear the stories. Bergen House is not a well-known one, and it's crazy. They've had Bigfoot sightings, UFO sightings. There's a suicide on the property. There's a four-armed creature that's been witnessed. Shadow thing. Even my friend says he witnessed it, and he's a skeptic. One of the last times I was there. Um, yeah, I mean some of these places are really interesting, and even to go back because when you go to one place and investigate one night, it's never the same thing when you come back. It's the haunting can be totally different in the experience. Yes, that's where I was just talking about a haunted place in Indiana I've been to. I do not mess around with Ouija boards. I was coerced to play with one at the beginning of my journey in this, and I was oppressed by an evil spirit after going to Bobby Mackey's the first time. And now I look back that I would never do that again. Yeah, Vicky. So the documentary I have coming out next Tuesday on Scare Network. And again, you can download the app for free and watch this for a few bucks. It is an insane story. It is a case that I took on before I was just learning about demonology and reading books on it. It was before I was taught in it, and I was trying to help a girl that was thousands of miles away from me who was pregnant while she was possessed. And the shit that happened is unfreaking believable. Movie level stuff. It's called Devil Down South. You can look up the trailer. It's on YouTube. It's going to be crazy. Do people need deliverance unknowingly? I'm sure that's possible. But this story, I have audio that's played on the documentary of her playing, speaking English backwards, her hissing at me when I put a cross up to the phone, and she would speak in a man's voice saying, Sean, she's mine. Just a 23-year-old girl. The stories, the events that took place. I was even attacked thousands of miles away. You got to see this story to believe it. And it's a harrowing story. It's emotional. But I think it's important to get the story out there to sway people from messing around with the dark arts. And that's why it's important to have these stories get out there. What is the coolest tech you ever seen for the paranormal? Alfred, Gary Galka creates the most interesting, awesome stuff. And I'm actually excited. I'm actually going back up to Gary's, um, a secret little thing that I'm doing, just him and I, um, next this week, um, experimenting on some new equipment that he's coming up with. Um, and it's fascinating to see some of the equipment that we can get out there to innovate the field, to increase the level of communication, to bring validity to the afterlife and how we investigate and do research. And Gary Galko is definitely one of those pioneers. But I really love the device that I can rewind and slow down the spirit box. Unfortunately, I dropped it yesterday trying to carry it on my arm because you guys see me. I have devices all over myself, like I'm paranormal RoboCop on crack. But I'm gonna bring that up and hopefully get that repaired. And um, I love these devices just to innovate what we can do. I love all of them. I love all the ITC stuff. Just the straight up, let's talk. Let's talk to the spirits. I want to hear straight up conversations. What do you got to say? Let's get that one, two, three gratification of like what we're dealing with, what are they saying, and then let's get it rolling. The gateway, the spirit box stuff, the SB7 and SB11 and straight up EVPs. I love it all. No problem, Tracy. Thank you. Um, well, I mean, I've been on TV before. I'm a published author. I have two books out. You can get a copy of my book, both my books, on SeanDAustin.com. Anywhere in the U.S., I'll sign it, mail it to you, or you can get it off Amazon. So I have books. I'm also a singer, a musician, and I'll probably do some live stuff with musics too. I'm going to be going down to Nashville next month to record some new music. So these are my two passions that I like to busy myself with. Um, so however I can do that, that's what I do. You recommend any great defense prayer books for defense? I have a Bible. James, actually, at the back of my first book, I put a bunch of protection prayers that I do use and have used. But there's stuff I'm sure you can research online as well, like I did before. Thank you, Alana. No problem, Nancy. Again, thank you guys. If you're just coming in, make sure you give this video a like, a share, give me a follow if you're into the paranormal. Got some crazy live investigations coming up for the month of October. Would you tell someone who wants to get into this but believe in the Bible? Well, I mean, obviously that I'm Catholic in that sense, so obviously I would try to, that's how I mean, I've witnessed evil spirits react negatively to things of religious significance, so that has brought my faith to a whole new level. So that's obviously what I would recommend. But I don't judge anyone who has a different belief system than I do. Everyone has their free will choice to do what they want to do and what they want to be involved with. I would advise against certain things that I don't do, but I don't judge others. What they do, unless I'm in their company and there's something bad going on. I'm just like, what are you doing? Things can get really, dangerous and stuff. So, hello, David. Any plans to come to Texas? Not yet, but we filmed a couple episodes of Ghost Loop on Travel Channel in Texas. That's the first time I went to Texas. How does one know if they're possessed? Well, there's certain strange things that might happen. Uh, Things like I was just mentioning, speaking English backwards, speaking in tongues. You would have some of the characteristics of a demonic infestation going on as well. The person out of nowhere having psychic abilities, just strange occurrences that would add to it. But you have to eliminate all rational explanations first before you would think that. Memphis, nice. Well, I'm in Connecticut right now. That's where I'm living right now. I haven't been to Oklahoma yet, but I'm sure I will. Hello from Louisiana. Yes. I mean, there's spirits that are everywhere. How prominent the spirits are, how much they activate or manifest, a different story. Just because it's an 80-year-old house doesn't mean it's like severely haunted. Um, I mean, if you're living in the house and weird things start to happen, then I would be like, okay, what's going on here? Nice, Morgan. Means gorgeous. I'm supposed to be heading up there, possibly. Have most scariest experience been in Connecticut? All the scary movies are based out of there. Yeah, I know. I've been to a lot of haunted places in Connecticut, and nice, Robin. Yeah, I've had some crazy stuff happen here in Connecticut for sure. I actually went to last year when the pandemic happened. I was just trying to find anywhere to go outside and be busy while people were trying to hide inside. And I went to the house where the boy David Glatzel was exorcised in Connecticut. And I think the house is Newtown. And um, After I went there, that demon from that case, it followed me home. And if you want to watch that story, I told the story and evidence of it because I live streamed on and off. It's on my YouTube if you want to watch what happened. and proof that it did and what was going on. It followed me home. I saw hooves and a tail. It growled at me in my bed upstairs. Um, and weird things were happening for weeks after that. Yep. Well, when you're sensitive, you attract a lot of spirits. Sorry, guys, the chat disappeared. Sorry if this has been asked before. Was there ever an investigation where you were genuinely scared for your own well being? If so, which one? Sorry, I just saw that. Well, I was just talking about Revenant Acres. We literally left the investigation because all three of us thought we were going to get possessed. Um, I felt pins and needles in half my body, like twice. Rotting flesh smell, like just shit smell. Um, I saw a face. You never see the face in The Exorcist, with the white face with the messed up teeth. I literally saw a very similar face appear in a hallway there, and knowing that people have been possessed there before, and the whole house shook at some point as if a truck hit the whole house. We were live streaming during this point. We stopped what we were doing, and hearing the chitter chatter and the footsteps coming. I mean, that's the one time where we literally left because we were concerned for our well being. Is the smell common? No, it's not a common thing. And if you smell something, you want to make sure that it's not from rational explanation rather than something paranormal. But there's other things that might happen with it to make you think that it is or not. Yeah. My YouTube is, you can click on the link right from my TikTok. It's my YouTube link's right there. Or you can search in YouTube, type in Sean Austin Paranormal, SeanAustin Paranormal. You'll see my face pop up. It'll say Sean Austin Paranormal Investigation and Music because I'm also a musician. It's my two passions. Thank you, Greenie. Do you protect yourself before an investigation? Absolutely, Stacy. Um, and especially afterwards, I'll bless my car with holy water and I'll say some protection prayers. And if you watch my live feed, you give me a follow and you pay attention to what I do, you'll see I do just that. If I'm still filming. Morgan, sometimes people will, spirits will latch on themselves and till the last minute, and where you actually can find it out because they want to do whatever their intention is. Have you ever been to Smoky Bones yet in Connecticut? What is Smoky Bones? That sounds like a nice barbecue joint, or is that a creepy place? Um, well, there's a lot of different sections of the faith that people have different interpretations of it. What's up, Bobby? Oh, it is good barbecue. Wow, awesome. No, I haven't, and I'm totally a foodie, man. So, I love traveling to haunted locations and like towns and stuff like that in the middle of nowhere and finding a really awesome like food joint. Um, Soaking up the land, the energy, and get some great food before investigating a place. Nice. I'll have to check it out. Thanks. My grandma was almost pushed down in the basement when we were doing a seance. Well, seances are dangerous and something else that I do not mess with. There's a cemetery. I know that cemetery. I've heard about it, Morgan. Um, I've been to a lot of creepy places. I was just talking about Revenant Acres in Indiana. They knocked that place down. Bobby Mackey's is messed up. Letchworth Village, an asylum. I've been to dozens of times. It's not far from here. I will definitely show you guys that at some point. Um, Messed up places. Well, the place in Ohio that the documentary um, that we just came out with recently. It's definitely a messed up place. I've been to so many. Um, hmm, I gotta think. Wrap my head around it. Sally House I went to last year, first time. Messed up place. Um, I could tell you that story too. before I went to the house, I wanted to go there, and I had this dream with this girl. She had pale skin and a brunette, and she like whispered in my ear, and she's like, "Did you play with the Ouija board?" And I'm thinking, I'm like, "No." And all of a sudden, she started wiggling her arm, and a snake came out of her arm and started hissing. And then she whispered in my ear her phone number, and the area code when I looked up was Atchison, Kansas, where that house was, where the house stands, Sally House. I knew it had to do with Sally House. It's kind of like an evil spirit giving me a creepy dream before going there. That's crazy with the wheelchair. Jeez. The only thing that I remembered was the zip code, and when I looked up the zip code, it was it was Atchison. I couldn't remember all the numbers. That's the creepy part. But then I knew that was associated with the Sally House. I knew it. Have you ever been to a place that you'll never go to again? Nope. I would have went back to Reverend Acres if I got the chance. I stood in front of it, Nancy, but I was trying to get access to it without a tour because the tour, I just want to be able to go in there with a few people and have it for the night. When I was down there for a friend's wedding, I didn't get the chance to go in there. Do I remember my first investigation? Yes, talking about it just before prior at a cemetery, a little girl ghost that followed me home. Um, in Maine, you got that serial killer where that girl got killed at the grave. I know about the boot and the grave because I went to that and took a picture. Um, I forget offhand. I went in front of Stephen King's house, took a picture, and a black cat jumped on my car when I was in front of Stephen King's house. Go figure. Um, where else did I go up there? I went to a couple of like urban legend graveyard spots, but I didn't really investigate like any place like indoors. I have to remember that. The Sally House was just investigated by another paranormal group. He said that they were very affected by going there. He had to go to a counselor. Yeah, it's a messed up place. It's a very messed up place. I'd go back there. How do I find help for demonic dreams, even though I pray and do all I can? Well, I'd love to investigate the Alamo. What kind of dreams are you having? Are they recurring? Is it something that's similar in nature, or is this something that's just making you have these dreams? I don't know. Yes, I've been oppressed by an evil spirit after I played with the Ouija board many years ago. And recently, last year, the evil that wanted to take revenge after crossing over some spirits wanted to mess something up in my personal relationship of mine, and it took credit for it, and I knew I had to return back to the place. I wouldn't say it was really attached to me per se. Well, it was trying to oppress me, so it was definitely doing something to me. But it was during, the pandemic. Everyone was really screwed up mentally, and we didn't know what the hell was going to happen. And I mean, at least it's a little bit more has more normalcy going on than we were last summer. It's just well, if it's a human spirit, it has some sort of emotional attachment to the doll because of something happened to her life. If it's something evil, it was invited in or latched onto this doll as some sort of moving portal, per se. So wherever the doll goes, the activity can display and project. That's interesting, Tracy. Well, Archangel Michael, before going to sleep, if you have holy water, put it in the four corners of your room, and put it on your forehead in the shape of a cross. Try that and see if it helps. How do you know if it's human? Just spirits in general? There's certain characteristics to a demonic haunting, but if you're just talking about talking to the through the devices, you have to be very objective about what you're hearing. There's a feeling, there's an energy associated with what is communicated, and you got to be careful. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hmm. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you baptized? Where do you learn these things without being misled with the fake information? Well, again, I based my knowledge off firsthand experience, and then I started to read books that still helped me formulate my approach and what I was understanding, and then being taught by, my mentor throughout the years. I did a podcast. I was bringing guests on my show, and I was picking their brains and their experiences synergistically. I was learning from them. They were learning from me. It's how we should all be doing in the paranormal field. We can all learn from each other. Um, and yeah, it's just you got to find your individual path. I know when you look online, it's the field is very opinionated, so everyone's got their own approach, their own method, and stuff like that. So you got to find that way that you feel comfortable, whatever that may be. There was a couple of things that were omens when I was a child. When I got oh, thank you, Becky. Um, when I got involved in the paranormal field, I was looking back at some, like, I was thinking about things that may have happened when I was younger, and there were definitely some instances of that. Um, like when I was a kid, um, I'll try to get to that in a second. When I was a kid, I was running home between houses. We had a house on Long Island near the bay, and I was about 8, 10 years old, and I saw something in the corner of my eye in this tall dead grass, and I picked it up. It was a satanic book. It was burnt on the outer edges. I had a creepy, unsettling feeling. Threw it down, ran home to my mom, cried. But it was one of those things that later on in life that I think that was kind of a sign to what I'd be getting involved with later. I also, when I was 3 years old, I was in the bathtub with my mom, and I would tell her I remember being in her womb, and I remember being in space and all this strange talk that she would tell me about later on in my life. So there were certain like little things that would go on. One last thing, I wrote about my first book, Shadow Chaser. A girlfriend of mine came to my house that I was had roommates in at the time, and she pulled up and saw this black hooded thing with black eyes staring into my window of the house. Disappeared. Most terrifying thing she had ever seen. And she never told me till 3 years later because she thought I would have thought she was crazy. But when she saw me posting stuff about the paranormal, she felt comfortable to say it to me. So there were things that were leading up. I used to have dreams about people's faces too that I never met. And I thought to myself when I was younger, I'm like, is my imagination able to make up people's faces? So there were certain things that were leading up to, but it wasn't like wow, I'm like psychic. But once I started to engage the paranormal field and open up to the possibilities and have the experiences happen to me so quickly, I was just I was I was so deep, and with what was going on within the first year, I had probably more experiences than your average person that's been involved for years. And again, thank you guys if you're just coming in. Give me a follow if you're into the paranormal. Got some crazy investigations that'll be live streaming here on TikTok and YouTube, which I'm live on here as well. Thank you guys for all that. What do you think the reason is that children do not cross over? I think there's something that we can only speculate about. There could be some sort of soul contract that this, even after death, somehow they're living out some sort of contract that they need to have finished business um, still at hand when they're in spirit form. I feel like there's somebody, even like the ghosts in general, say per se, uh, that there's lessons still being learned by these ghosts that are trapped in Earthbound. That they're still going through some sort of thing that they were meant to. Um, Obviously, children are the most innocent creatures of us all, but there's some sort of answer behind that, or it could be a demon disguising itself as a child too. So you also have that. Nice, James. You certainly got a great gift, Sean, and we appreciate your time and effort to make these streams. Thank you, David. I really appreciate that. Oh, nice, James. It's all about that validation. Yep. Any question you guys have about the paranormal ghosts while I'm doing this, and I will be doing these on and off to answer your questions in between live investigations. Are you at the point that you can psychically sense entities? Absolutely, 100%. Yes. Immediately, if I walk into a property, I can feel energy and knowing, there's something there. I can pick up an item and know that there's energy attached to it. How much has your psychic ability grown since you started? Kind of interconnected with the question I just got. Um, it's definitely developed. I feel like it comes and goes. And when you see me live investigate, like even though I'm not picking up psychic stuff all the time, number one, I'm holding cameras, I'm holding devices, but something naturally will come to me. And if it like personifies and it gets, prevalent, whatever comes to mind energetically wise or something that's spoken to me that I think that's going to be relevant or help on during the investigation, I will announce it. I will voice it. Um, so the first book I read was The Demonologist by Lorraine Warren. Then I read The Shadows of the Dark by John Zaffis. Then I read my mentor's book, Deliver Us from Evil. That's what it's called now because it's based off the movie that came out. And my book, my first book, Shadow Chaser. There's even protection prayers at the back of the book. You can get this book on Amazon or a signed copy only in the US from SeanDAustin.com. I will be going live again. I think it's going to be nice tomorrow. I'm going to see if I can go live tomorrow. I definitely will sporadically be live investigating this week when I can. Hello, Robert. Yeah, it's endlessly fascinating. My father passed in 2002, and I first got to see him in 2004. He said one thing to me, and my condolences when that did happen, and it's got to be rough for anyone to lose their parent. And my dad's having issues, and he's almost 90, so we can all relate to that. I did not make my book audible yet. I definitely people have said that it's something I can look into. Alina's house. Oh gosh, that was so long ago. She doesn't even live there anymore. She moved into a new house. That's what you're talking about. How can I find out for sure, and how can I help teach him to shield? Teach who? Just what? Sorry if I'm. My dad said I'm sorry for you to find me, and I haven't seen him since. Oh, hey Trudy. Getting visitations from your parents, it's still got to be comforting to know that it's not the end, and we get to see our loved ones again. Hey Sean, you were answering another question when I asked, but have you ever had a family friend that took their own life contact you, or have them been tempted to reach out to them? I have had someone I know that took their life contact me. It's come through during investigations. Um, yeah, I mean that has happened. It's not. I mean, I've definitely prayed for anyone I know that's taken their life, and obviously that's a another sensitive subject, and what we can truly believe what happens to a spirit or a person when they do that. It's very tragic. I do believe that you know the realization of not them ejecting from themselves from the pain, but how it actually affects the people that they care about around them, could keep them in a lower vibrational state where they could be stuck for a while. So the best thing to do is to pray for them, 100%, that they can let go and hopefully find the peace they deserve. Well, it's good when you dream about Jesus. Time, please. I don't know a time, man. Is there a way I can say I forgive him? You say it out loud, and spirits hear you. They know. If you're in your car and a song comes on and you makes you think you have a loved one that has passed away, I'm going to tell you right now that they are with you. There's no conception of time in spirit realm. So These spirits in 100% spirit form, they know in these instances when you're going to be thinking about it, and they're going to be there with you. So saying it out loud, trust me, they hear it. Even if you say it in your mind, they hear it. Yeah, it's definitely a sensitive subject and tragic. Have you ever been to the Fairmount Hotel in Deadwood? No, I don't think so. Can you tell a spirit out loud to stop doing something? Of course you can. What it's going to end up doing after that, I can't guarantee. That's why I always put in the name of Jesus Christ. If it's something negative, if they're coming to me and trying to scare me in my bedroom, coming back from a creepy place, no problem, man. That's why I get up and throw holy water around my bedroom or whatever I got to do. I've had the scariest of the scary come to me in my bed. Trust me on that. You name it, it's come to me. I've seen it. I've experienced it. So, can spirit guides change or are they given to you at birth? Um, it's possible that they can change. That's not something I'd be able to definitively answer, but I believe we obviously all have guides. It's possible that they are assigned to us before we're born, but also think about your loved ones when they pass away. I think that some of them become your guide. So in that retrospect, I believe that does happen. If you could only choose two locations to investigate, one you've been to previously and one you haven't visited to, where would you go? Appreciate all you do. Thank you, Sco. That's a cool question. One I've been to previously. Uh, Gosh. Well, I'll tell you my number one that I wish I could investigate and just lock me in there for 24 hours is the Amityville house. I wrote about my personal experiences having to do with that house. It followed me home after being by the house and the grave of the DeFeos in my second book, Shadow Chaser, The In Between. That's that one. If I could choose to go back to a place I've been to before, um, hmm, I'd have to think about that one. Um, if I had to choose one place that I've been to, I want to go back to. I would like to go back to Sally House another time, see if something else happens. Um, hmm. I would have loved to go back to Reverend Acres, but they knocked it down, which I was talking about before as well. When I see butterflies, I think of my mom. So that's something that happens a lot too. Awesome, Debbie. Um, you might see a bird or a butterfly or something, and it makes you think of your loved one. And that's something I believe that the heavenly spirits that have crossed over in transition, they will use a strange instance like that to associate with them. And if you're thinking about them and it keeps showing up, that's how they're getting their message across to you. The most wildest haunting in the world. What do you mean, the story or a case of it? Well, that's good, James. What ghost or general name do you think has visited you the most? Well, obviously, that dark spirit that was with me for like 5 years probably took the cake there. That's the Guinness Book haunted record for me, I think. Have you ever been bitten while investigating and did it leave marks on you? Um, I did have a bruise on my arm. I didn't put in the documentary, but if you do want to know, if you watch the documentary Devil Down South, um, Sarah, probably in the next day or so, um, there was a very terrifying experience one night. I explained. I didn't talk about the bruise, but there's so much to the story. The documentary is almost 2 hours long, and we couldn't even fit everything in there. Her 3-year-old was running around the house going, draw the cross, upside down, draw the cross, 3 years old. And even the kid we had to do the dramatization, he's 9 years old because you can't get a kid at that age to be able to do something like that. And he's going, the big bad wolf, mark of the beast 666. So the mom calls me up saying her son's going crazy. And I just read books about demonology because I was just reading books about it, learning about it. I wasn't a demonologist. I was just fascinated by it and trying to understand it because of my own experiences. And I, from what I read in the book, is that these demons, these priests, these exorcists in the book said that they're incapable of saying "I love Jesus." So I told the mother to ask her son to ask the big bad wolf to say, I love Jesus. And the kid starts howling in the background. And she goes, he wants to speak to you, her son. So he gets on the phone and he goes, you better watch out tonight. The big bad wolf, he's going to come to you in your sleep, bite your beep off, and spit it on your chest. And just, yeah, whatever you think that is, he said. The name of the documentary is Devil Down South. Um, and it's creepy as hell. The case of this girl who's possessed is definitely a top three case, especially and the Malefice documentary too. You can watch the Malefice documentary on Scare Network. If you download the app for free, on you can down on Fire Stick and Apple TV, and then you can rent it for $3 and watch it and stream it to your TV, or you can go straight to the website scarenetwork.tv and rent the title Malefice. And when Devil Down South, it comes out next Tuesday, October 12th, and do the same thing. How you doing, Andrew? John York's house in Connecticut. Are you recommending more food places or haunted places? But both are just good. I appreciate it, man. But I'm telling you, this possession case story is insane. Oh, shit. Happy birthday. Early birthday, Sarah. Nice. Well, yeah, sounds good to me. This girl levitated. This kid was 3 years old. He admits on camera that he watched her levitate. One of the times she called me, she went into a trance, and I could just hear the kid in the background saying, "Look, mommy's floating." And I was thousands of miles away, and the only thing I thought I could do is ask this kid to try to videotape what was happening with the mom. And not until we went down there on the documentary, on the interview, he actually said that he kept on pressing the video button and something was changing it to the camera. I mean, he was taking selfies of himself because they probably didn't want him to document the levitation taking place because the devil and demons don't want to be exposed. And this was a very delicate, insane case. Any angelic places instead of bad places you've been to? Church. I've had angelic experiences. I've had visions about Jesus and stuff. So it's not all bad. You get those occasional really positive, godly type experiences, and I'm definitely appreciative of those when they do. I did have a very crazy vision recently of what I believe is Archangel Michael. Um, Halloween, I would think, right? Um, and he had big wings, and he was floating over like thousands of shadow figures, head and shoulder. I just saw like head and shoulder, all over the place, shadows. And he's looking down at them as if they were peasants. And then he just aimed his sword up, and then looked up, and then he starts flying up. And all of a sudden, he looks down at me, and he just screams. He says, "Keep following the way of the cross." And then and that vision dissipated. Um, Things like that. I'm very appreciative to have visions like that. It's pretty wild, but again, it brings more validity to my faith with some of this stuff. Hello, Jill Tully. Yeah, he yelled at me to say. He said, "Keep following the way of the cross." Nice, nice, Sarah. What's up, E. Russell? Again, guys, if you're new, give me a follow. Doing a lot of live investigating coming up this month for Halloween, and you can watch both here on TikTok and my YouTube. And my YouTube links are even on my TikTok. And if you want updates, my Instagram is on here as well, Sean D. Austin, just like it says up top. I put a lot of stories of places where I'm going and updates. That wasn't me, Andrew, who got scratched. It was Dave who got scratched at the rectory. He got scratched on his neck. It followed me home, though, too, because I prayed for those boys' spirits to cross over. And then for weeks after that, I had this voice in my ear saying, "I'll slit your throat because you took those three boys away from me." That's in my first book. Yes, I am was on Ghost Loop. Yes. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Well, I think during the Halloween season, so many people are acknowledging spooks, ghosts, and ghouls and goblins. So, the veil is, lifted a little bit more because people are thinking about it more. So, and again, acknowledgement energizes spiritual energies and the spirit world in general. So, it's all part of the package there. Happy birthday, Sarah. I know somewhat of it of James. We actually mentioned Annalise a little bit in the documentary because of similarities of the fact that, like, I was at the time for the case of the girl who's possessed and pregnant. Nobody wanted to touch the case with a 10-foot pole. I went to John Zaffis at the time. I just met John Zaffis. I didn't know anybody, and he was right about what he had said to me about these girls mess around with witchcraft and they get pregnant and they have complications with their pregnancy, and this is what happened. Um, and I had nowhere to turn. She had nowhere to turn, but I felt emotionally invested to try to help this girl. She's latching on to me, calling me all the time. And the only thing I could do is try to guide her, and I did. I had a priest at her, trailer. I had a priest at the hospital baptizing the baby because I knew it wanted to go after the baby. And, I wanted to make sure that the soul of the baby was protected as soon as it was born because I didn't know what the hell was going to happen. I was way over my head, but at the same time, I felt emotionally invested to try to help the girl and the unborn child and her family in general. I did whatever I could, considering I was thousands of miles away and I was not equipped to help her. And even her father, who was very skeptical about stuff, and he knew about me, he did not want me coming down there and threatened me to put me in jail if I came down there and try to help. So, you know, it's a very sensitive subject, but I did everything I could to help out that girl during that time. That's all I could do. I've been on TV. Someone just recognized me from Ghost Loop on Travel Channel. We did 8 episodes. It aired on Travel Channel 2 years ago. It's on Discovery Plus right now. But I would recommend watching these documentaries. These documentaries I'm truly proud of. And again, this story, the possessed girl, it's so emotionally, it's sad, it's terrifying, it's moving. It shows, just the reality of the situation. People mess around with this stuff, and can help people and sway them from not doing this sort of thing. And then the story of Maleficus, what I went through, and the stakes we get involved with going on these cases and doing what we do. So definitely watch it. Go to Scare Network and rent it for a few bucks. Stream it. It's Halloween. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. If you like paranormal shows, I'm truly proud of Maleficus. It's my proudest paranormal film project that I've ever been a part of. And it really shows evidence of what I went through and us going back there and what I had to do to ultimately rid myself of that. Thank you, Amber. Thank you guys for the likes. Thank you guys for all the shares and the new followers that have come in from tonight. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Amber. Glad you like the books. Yeah, you guys have to watch this story, Devil Down South, and watch the other one. It's some serious crazy stuff. Yeah, you can go to the website scarenetwork.tv or download the app for free on Fire Stick or Apple TV, and you can rent Malefice from there and stream it for a few bucks. Sounds good, Greeny. You believe to open windows or doors after someone passes? I mean, it's interesting people have done that, but I've never done. I mean, something like that. I mean, people turning around mirrors and stuff. I do believe that. Um, the scope I did years back when you were walking through a haunted forest. Oh yeah, I do believe that mirrors are doorways and spirits use them, so that's very prevalent on cases sometimes. The name of my two books are Shadow Chaser and Shadow Chaser: The In Between, with my name by Sean Austin. If you live outside of the U.S., you can get it off Amazon, or if you want a signed copy from me, go to my website, SeanDAustin.com, just like it says up top. my screen name here, .com, and you can pick it out. And I also have the Maleficent DVD for sale, and I sign those as well. If you live in the U.S., you want to sign a copy of that too. And by this next week, I'll have shirts and signed pictures of me standing in front of the Amityville house if anyone's interested as well. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. What's up, man? I got another one for you to watch. I might do some investigating up there. I might do some leisure, um, fun things. Anyone have any questions over here? If you could go back in time, would you have not done the first EVP work on the cemetery? I know you are all in now. Thank you, Laurel. Whatever I'm doing, I'm doing it for a purpose. God has got me involved in this stuff. Um, so I'm just following that lead, and I feel like I'm meant to be doing this. So I do love music, and I love performing. I really like to get back to some of that. I am going to record some new music in Nashville, and one of the songs I'm recording is having to do with the most beautiful and sad paranormal experience I've ever had, and I bawled. I couldn't stop crying, and at some point I'll be able to let you guys all know about this experience. It's one of the most unique. It is the most unique paranormal experience I've ever had. What evidence to show after the intelligence of the spirit what happened to me too, and I believe you'll be able to see this as well unfold. And so I'm gonna record this song. It's literally dedicated because of what I experienced. Yes, I'm a singer. My music sounds like Pearl Jam meets Goo Goo Dolls, Switchfoot. Those are like my favorite bands. If you go to my YouTube, you can hear some of my songs, and I will do some performing on here as well, little acoustic things. Yeah, kids are fresh from the spirit realm when they're young, and the spirits know that. That's why they gravitate towards them. Hey, Ann, how we doing? The best place? I mean, every location has like such a unique characteristic to its haunting. Like they're all different in their own way. Like I've had so many crazy things happen at many different places that they're all, you know, it just depends. It just, like I've slept in an 1800s jail in a jail cell, and I'd wake up to the policeman hitting a baton over the jail cell, or sleeping in an asylum or sanitarium, or just like all these different places that have different types of history will be incorporated to the potential events that paranormal experiences that you'll have. So they're all unique and special to their own, to each their own. So it really depends. Thank you, Vicky. Spirits in two places at one time. How do you think they're able to appear to do this? I don't think they have the limit. Well, they definitely don't have the limitations that we have, as human beings. That's why we have the laws of the physical plane. So um, it's definitely possible that they're able to do things like that. That's why we call it the unexplained, because we don't know how the shit they're doing it. Is the Annabelle house still standing? Yes, the family lives in there. They're in total denial, I think, about what goes on there, because I know that place still has stuff in there, and they hate having anything to do with it. But obviously, people go there and take pictures, and they get pissed off. But hey, you moved into that house. It's the most famous haunted house in America. If you don't like it, move. And when it's up for sale again, I'm going to ask a realtor if I can go in and look at the house and see if I want to buy it, because that's my number one, to just be able to walk through that house. Would I buy it? If I had the money, I would buy it, live in it for a few months, live stream for you guys every night as I sit there alone, investigate the shit out of that place, and then sell it again. That'd be a dream come true. I could imagine the dreams or experiences I would have living in there because I know that shit in that house knows me. When I was writing the story, what happened to me with the shit follow me home? I would wake up at 3:15 in the morning. I'd have a dream about the house, and I see a black mist go through the ceiling. 3:15 in the morning constantly. When I was writing the chapter, I'd hear flies buzzing in my ear in my bedroom. There were no flies in my room. Like I was having weird shit go on. Um, since I've had personal experiences having to do with it, it makes me even more fascinating with it. So, yeah, I would love to be just inside that house. When someone brings out the spirit box, you hear all kinds of words. So is that spirits that are there? Darlene, some of it can be radio. You have to learn how to decipher in between the two. If it's a voice that travels over more than one station, that can't be the radio, or if it's cursing at you. So you just have to learn how to differentiate between a spirit and a radio. Um, it just comes along with the territory. There you go, Kelly. Has the vision been so strong that's taken a lot of energy from you? I don't think so. I mean, thank you, Sco. Again, appreciate it, guys. You're just coming here. Give me a follow if you're new. Thank you for the likes and the shares. Good questions tonight. Glad to answer them and hear some of your stories. How powerful is it to be alone when investigating? It's very powerful. I don't think you'd be able to handle it, Alfred. Do you? My buddy Alfred, he's a talented photographer over here. Um, camera images with a K. Um, we were at this place. There's cameras all over the place, and I felt like this guy was like a sexual perv in life, and he's a photographer too. And you know, he was so terrible. He's never done an investigation with me. I never realized it. And like, he's like 10 feet away from the kitchen. I'm like, dude, go grab your stuff in there. You forgot it. He's like, I'm not going there. I'm like, dude, it's 10 feet away. This guy was terrified, and he went home. Opened the door in his bedroom by himself, left the lights on, the TV on. He felt like he was being watched. It's hilarious. I know this sounds weird, but I see and feel spirits in my house. Could I be a sensitive? If you're picking up on stuff, let's put this into retrospect here. Everyone has psychic abilities. We are spiritual beings living in a human body, having a human experience. Some people are a little bit more naturally gifted with that sort of thing, and it's more prominent in their life than others. And you get little nuances of it. That's why I tell people to pay attention to their intuitive ability that's natural to them. And all of our gifts are special and individual to what we may be doing or what we're going to be involved with. So, you know, but if you're noticing more stuff, you're just becoming more sensitive to it. But again, that's who you are as a core within yourself. And remember that. On your website are going to be getting shirts and hats. Shirts, Robert. I don't know if the shirts are up yet, but I have to count my shirts tomorrow. And my good buddy Adam, who's been helping me with the website, so thank you to him. I have to count all the sizes. So actually, the program he has, if it runs out of size, it'll say out of stock. So it's going to be up there in the coming days, any day now, and signed pictures of me in front of the Amwell House that I'll be mailing out. Definitely meet and greets in the future, Alfred. I'm trying to figure out a place where I could scream Malefice and Devil Down South, do a book signing, maybe an investigation at a place where some of you guys can investigate with me. I think that'd be really cool. Maybe somewhere in Connecticut. in your new house, well, you have some ability, and that's why you're picking up on that. And again, when you're more sensitive to the spirit world, your aura is sending out a signal to the spirits around of the house that you're living in, and they're gonna gravitate towards you because they know that you're gonna pick up on their scent more than your average person. Can someone open themselves up to something bad, a negative entity, simply by starting a digital recorder and asking questions? Probably a dumb question. No, it's not a dumb question. Again, anything that we do to communicate with spirits and the paranormal, it's a risk. There's no guarantee. I can't tell you that it's like, oh my God, that's gonna kill you. But when you open yourself up to that and you start doing stuff involved in the paranormal, this is what comes along with it, the potential. So you have to be prepared, and that's why it's important to verse yourself, read up on stuff, and learn to figure out the worst case scenarios and things that can happen when you do start doing that sort of thing. Since you're a teenager, nice. Well, I know. I was just in North Carolina. I was helping doing the last filming of the documentary. I was in Wilmington. New Orleans. I would love to go to New Orleans. Sean, do you live in Connecticut or are you visiting? I live in Connecticut currently. What cemetery gives you the most unsettling feeling? I would say Letchworth Village is up there around here. I'd say that's the most active cemetery I think around. This is the cemetery where they have numbers on their graves, piles of bodies under each number, and these are from patients from, the Letchworth Asylum. I think that's the I could think of the most creepy one around. Nice. Keep freezing. Here, I just went on Wi-Fi. Maybe that'll make it better. What's the oldest case I have investigated? I mean, I've been to haunted locations like 1600s houses or cemeteries. I mean, I'd probably be that. Yeah, the Warrens are pioneers in the paranormal field, so that's definitely understandable. Hello, Terry. Busy's not a bad thing. Oh, the little cemetery. Yeah, I've never been to the UK. I'd love to though. I've definitely had funny ghosts. I have ghosts calling out people, making fun of people. They know our banter and they know my banter. They'll come through. They'll predict things. I mean, whatever personality they were in life, it'll come through on the devices as well. And is there a hierarchy among spirits? Like, can some spirit dictate who can come through, speak to? I mean, I think that there's spirits that are more innovative than others and know how to speak, know how to move objects, and other ones might be lost within themselves. They might not know they're dead. I think there's a bunch of different versions of spirits that are earthbound and are ghost related, and who they are and what they're capable of doing is dependent on things that we can only speculate about in the end. They make fun of, they mock. Yep. Yes, Villisca Murder House definitely on my bucket list. I definitely want to go there at least once. I was just in Iowa last year around this time, and Malvern Manor place was definitely haunted, definitely creepy, getting growled at, shadows, and all sorts of stuff. Definitely Nancy. Nice, Lisa. Sure, Vicky, it definitely could be a potential factor. I have white witches in my family tree. I have psychics in my family tree, so I'm right there at the same, you know, potential aspect right there on display. Oop. Prayers in mind as powerful as out loud. You know, hey Nick, how we doing? Obviously, saying out loud, you can say it with more conviction, but I mean, I still think that you can say it in your mind too. White witches are witches that are allegedly doing good, positive magic to help people. There was never any dark or malicious intent with what they were doing. I have been in St. Augustine. I did a little bit, yeah. When we filmed Ghost Loop, we stayed down there for a week. We weren't far from there. I'd love to go back and do more. Beautiful place. I could see myself retiring down there. It's absolutely gorgeous at some point in my life. Again, thanks to anyone who's just coming in for the new follows, the shares, and the likes. And again, got some crazy paranormal investigation trips coming up that I'll be live investigating here on TikTok on YouTube. Most visited ghost of yours. You already asked me that question, man. It's probably that evil dude that visited me the most. Been around, coming through. There's a guy that keeps coming through a lot that says Buddha. We had a guy for quite a few years on Periscope saying, "Do it." We call him the "Do It" guy. There are apps that I do play with investigations. Spiritus, Spiritus. Echovox, I've used before. I don't know where Daniel is. Yeah, Do It guy. Um, one of them's like $10. Um, yeah, I mean they're like 10, something like that. There are a couple of apps. I forget the names of them. There are some like free ones that you could, experiment with yourself and see if you get results with it. I hear you, darling. I used to use Ghost Radar, man. Something simple. It works just like the Ovilus, and I would get results with it. I thought it was a silly thing because right when smartphones came out, and to bring back to someone who committed suicide, I was up there in my old apartment. I was there with my sister on the top floor, and I was just using a ghost app. I was just starting to use invest. I was just starting to investigate, and I said to my sister, I wonder if so and so, his spirit, is still around. I won't say his first name, um, because he hung himself literally 3 blocks down the road from where I was living at the time. She's like, I don't know. And right after that, the app sped out his last name, said Martin. And I'm like, I just had chills. I never said the last name. I never said it. And that was this. I literally said his first name, and it spit out his last name. And then I knew something was weird about it. People have weird stories online, but again, throughout the years using this sort of thing, I know that spirits can manipulate anything that's electrical. I've been on cases, people talking about TVs turn on by themselves. I've seen TVs turn on by themselves, TVs not even being plugged in and turning on, people getting text messages from their loved ones who are passed away. I had something posted on my Facebook that nobody posted. I mean, there's just lots of weird things um, that can take place. Why we call it the unexplained. Is it wrong to think a loved one is strong enough to protect you from evil spirits? I don't think it's wrong. I think it's good to have faith in that situation. Do you ever get any sense of where Mr. Laundry may be? And I did have two visions, and I posted on Twitter just in case it could help, because I felt like just horrible about that story too. I had two visions. I did have a very blurred vision of him in like a kayak or a canoe or something. He had a bluish type shirt on, and he was in murky water. That was the first thing I saw. The second time I saw him with a knife going like this on a tree, like cutting off something, and then I saw him dragging like a big stick across dirt, and I could just hear someone saying digging a ditch. And I think he maybe have been digging a ditch, maybe to hide in and put leaves over it. I don't know, but it's good to just voice those visions in case they can help. I don't know. It can only help. It can't hurt. So it's just like a lead from a different perspective. Dog the Bounty Hunter's daughter retweeted one of those visions, and she said yes, he was there because what happened was I had this vision a week prior, and when the dog the bounty hunter got involved and said that this at this fort area that Brian was there, I looked up the place, and the first thing that popped up is that it's known for kayaking, and there's like a river, and I posted an image, and I put that, and this is this could be the vision that I had, and that could have been something, and yeah, I did have a vision of him with like some sort of utility belt, like gear around his waist or something, but yeah, again, it can only help. That's why some of these things, it's all you can do. And I have worked with police, on some stuff too, having to do with things. But all you can do is try to help with your gifts. Um, having the right intent, it can only help. Yeah, it could be Kelly. I don't think that says that in the Bible. I think in the Bible it says that you're not supposed to communicate with the dead. I don't think it says anyone's psychic has a demon in them. But remember, that's also Old Testament. Um, So, the thing about the Bible is that it's been written over 19 times. Man has his hand in it. And I'm not judgmental on anybody. I think the most important thing, out of the Bible for me is the golden rule. Love others the way you want to be loved. That transcends every single religious belief that ever was or ever will be. And that's the most important thing that I take to heart. But, you know, I was brought up Catholic and I use my faith to guide myself involvement in the paranormal. I believe in angels, Jesus, the Blessed Mother, and the apostles, and all this stuff, and I pray to them, and I use that guidance. But I would never judge anyone who has a different belief system, as long as they're a good person in life. They don't, their soul could have landed in atheist. My soul could have landed in an atheist body, but an atheist still could be a good person, does great stuff for people and helps people, and does something for their fellow human beings. And that is really what God stands for: unconditional love and forgiveness. And I don't think God would ever turn away any person that is a good person in life and does and helps others, and brings light into the world where it doesn't reach, and is an example of what God does stand for. It's risky investigating the paranormal. That's why, I mean, it is a risk. I mean, what you do with your free will choice is up to you, and that's why I read books to try to, learn. Sounds good, Anne. Oh wow, Nick. Yep. Ed Warren said he saw someone turn into a werewolf once and seen anything like that or similar to that. Um, Psychically, I've seen wolf-like things, Robert, but I've never seen a person do that. But I know he did a possession case of the wolf. I forget the guy's name. Is it wrong to think a lot? Oh, I already saw that. Nice, Nick. Thank you, Beverly. I do believe in purgatory. Yeah, sometimes I think that a little bit our life on planet Earth is like purgatory. We ain't in hell. We're not in heaven. We're just a little bit of both here. But we're not in the true spiritual form. I feel like the earthbound spirit ghosts are almost like they're in purgatory because they're lost. They're not in pure pain and they're not in pure peace. Welcome, guys. If you're just coming in, make sure you give me a follow. If you're into the paranormal. And any other questions? Great question, guys, tonight, and glad to answer them to my best ability. And that's what's good about doing these Q&As in between investigations, because you see how I approach the paranormal, how I do things, how I show respect to spirits, and have my faith guide me on these, investigations as a whole. Um, a thermal camera SLS. I think they're both cool in their own way, Alfred. That's like comparing apples or oranges, really. The flare camera, the thermal camera, SLS. They're both great. They're just different interpretations of what you're looking at. But can I get your new movie the same way I got your previous documentary? Yeah, Nick. I don't remember how you got it. I don't remember what you did, but yeah. What would be your dream place to investigate? Ohio guy, just said it before. Amityville House, 100%. Nice, Screamy. No, I don't have kids and I'm not married. Would I purposely live in a haunted house? No. I don't even have to live in a haunted house. I am haunted myself, Alfred. Things happen to me regardless, and then to actually live in a haunted house, I'm just asking for shitstorm.com. Hudson Valley, New York. Well, I grew up. I'm from Westchester. I was from Bonkers. I really lived in Yonkers, but my PO was Bronxville. I lived in Tuckahoe, and I live in Thornwood, on the Pleasantville area. So yeah, I've been all around Westchester. Yeah, I've definitely felt energy changes for sure. Sarah, I don't know if I saw your question. I'm sorry if I missed it. Do you believe in purgatory? Yeah, yeah, I was just answering that before. That's your question. Um, must have missed that one. I don't see it. I have to put it again. Welcome to the club, Darlene. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's quite the creepy feeling, Ohio. Been there many, many times. It kind of gets me excited though when that happens. To be honest. Sick as it is. And you feel the creepy feeling of someone watching you. Yeah, definitely. I can imagine, darling. I hear you, James. Yeah, that's got to be a lot of energy and emotion. Greeny. The most impactful paranormal depiction as a spirit has told you. When the angel came to me in my bed and I felt this light over me, pure peace, tranquility, times a million. He said, "Peace be with you." And one of the parts of the message, he said to me, "Believe in yourself to be greater than you think you are." And I think that's very telling. I think it's important, to have faith in God to guide you through your life, but He's not here to live your life for you. We have to believe in miracles, but we do have to believe in ourselves that we're capable of accomplishing things that may be tough, or else we would never be able to accomplish that. And I think that's important. And I think that's why that angel said it to me. Oh, awesome. Delicate Queen. Nice. Yeah, there's even a video on my TikTok proof that the Annabelle demon followed me home. You watch that one, it's creepy too. Yeah, indeed. Sarah, there's a family that lives there. Can't just be like, hey, I wish. I almost got to go to the Bell Witch Cave in Tennessee when I was down there a summer ago, but the pandemic ruined that chance. Maybe another time. You tell me about smells and fragrances in the paranormal. Well, I've smelled like cologne, perfume, shaving cream, um, any sort of smell that would associate of an action of a human being, or you could have the putrid smells of the demonic. I mean, it has no rational explanation for it. I mean, it can happen. Roses. We were trying to figure it out, Darlene. Still no definitive answer. Um, but it's interesting how these smells can be projected. Um, how they're not here, but somehow we can pick up on that. It's another fascinating little thing that happens within the manifestations of spirits, the many different ways that they do. That's good, darling. Have you ever had objects thrown at you, Sean? Yes, I have. When we were in Bobby Mackey's a few years ago or 4 years ago, we were down in the basement, and all of a sudden, my friend had tobacco chew container like 10 feet away from us, and 10 or 15 feet away from us, and all of a sudden we were looking at a flashlight, trying to communicate with the spirits with the flashlight. Something was thrown over our heads. We hear ping, 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 ping. Thrown like 30 feet across the basement was his tobacco chew. That was insane. Thank you, Nancy. Yes, Devil Down South next week, October 12th. That is out on scarenetwork.tv, and you can download the app for free and watch Malefice right now if you'd like on Apple TV and Fire Stick and rent it for a few bucks. Or if you want a copy of the DVD from SeanDAustin.com. Yeah, Letchworth is super haunted, Alfred, because of the satanic activity, possibly the murder, the decapitation. Uh, there may have been murders, there's suicides, all the above. Well, that's good. What happens if you get scratched? I never heard of that till the other day. I mean, it's just you just don't know why the scratch occurred. It could be a dark entity marking you for whatever the reason. It could be something that's just a negative human spirit trying to scare you. It just depends. It's not like the end of the world, but something to be very take note of. Hello from Indiana. Another Indiana person. Hello. Oh, well, thank you, Kim. I just started live investigating on TikTok, and it's nice because more people can kind of come in and find the video very easily. YouTube's been a slow-paced thing and not great, and whoever wants to enjoy watching my investigations and see how I do things, I show respect to spirits, I pray for spirits, and how I do things. I bring in spiritual awareness and doing these Q&As, sharing my experiences and knowledges with you in any way that I can. I think that's a good positive thing. So I like being able to communicate with all you guys, meeting everyone that's interested in this stuff, and again, conversating about this. It is my passion, and that's what's great about it. Can you try to explain how a tragic event can leave an impression in location? Well, every action has energy. Every object, every person is energy. So when emotional tragedy takes place, it leaves a stain on the planet forever, which could equate and lead to earthbound ghost spirits that are intelligent, leaving behind because of their untimely death, or it could be a residual haunting from that imprint and like a movie playing out over and over again. Have you ever been in Thornwood Castle before? I've been interested in that place in history since I watched Rosette. No, Heidi, I haven't. Um, I would love to. Any castle sounds very fascinating to me. Keep bringing up Maleficent. Yeah, I know, but it's Malefice. If you type in Malefice True Story, it'll come up in YouTube. You can watch the trailer um, and see if you're interested in watching it. Have you ever explored Waverly Hills by chance? Yes. The video on my YouTube, you can watch my investigation, what took place. It was a freaky, scary night. Loved it. That place is insane. Very haunted. Nope. That's my number one to be inside the Amityville house. Would I ever mentor myself? How would I do that? I wonder if they'd let you investigate the old hospital on our base. Hey, never know. No worries. It's in my paranormal channel because I have on my YouTube there are my live investigations, and then there's a channel named Paranormal, and then there's just my music. The Amityville house is like an hour and a half, 2 hours tops from where I am right now. Sure. Yes, I've been to the Conjuring house. My investigation there is on my YouTube as well. Very haunted. Had a really crazy, nice, interesting night that night there too. We had activity all night. What would I want to be remembered by? I would love to leave an impact in the field. The way that, you know, people that I respect that were pioneers, in the old days, you just want to leave your mark, make a difference in a good, positive way. I got you, Morgan. Oh, I don't know. I'm sure definitely can call you to it. You guys got a few more questions before I call it in for the night. Been doing this for about 2 hours, but I'm going to do more of these whenever I can in between these investigations to answer your questions. So it gives more, um, clarity to, the investigations and how I approach it and when you guys watch. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the winter. Yeah, I love being outside. I love being on the run, going places. Haunted animals. What do you mean? I mean animals actually being haunted. Thank you, Beverly. No problem. I will be doing these more and more. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's definitely feasible and possible that an animal could have some sort of haunting associated with it. Was it the animal of an old owner that their earthbound spirit's still around? Is there something else that could be the factor at play and for the reason for that? Yeah, no problem. Yep, no problem. Yes, I'm in Connecticut currently. Appreciate the new follows, guys. And again, lots of investigations coming up, some big trips. We'll be live investigating a lot. Oh, wow. Hello from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Welcome. Oh, at the Greystone Manor, we got EVP of horse galloping. That was nuts. Upstate New York. So I do have a theory about um, deja vu. So before we come here, we have a life chart of what our souls potentially and hopefully able to accomplish. And when we come here, our free will takes us a little off course, on and off. And at that one given moment, that snapshot is a replica to our life chart, which again, there's no conception of time. So in that one instance, you're recognizing that from your life chart, and you're at the right place and right time to be right in sync with it. So if there are spiritual ways, do you know why there's no dinosaur spirits like big T Rex ghosts traveling around? Heidi, that's interesting question. I've never encountered a dinosaur spirit. I don't know why. The only thing I could come up with is that the spirits of the dinosaurs have actually um, transitioned into the animals that are on this planet now. So um, that could be totally something different now. So it's like all these creatures that are on the planet now were once dinosaurs, so that's probably why. I almost got the chance to, Robert, and I would love to. My dad's doing okay. He's back in the hospital right now. I appreciate your prayers. He's 89. He's been in and out of the hospital on and off. And it's definitely getting to that point where you never know anything could happen to my dad. So I appreciate asking about him. Nice, man. No, no problem. Thank you. Um, from paranormal stuff, it has. I'll take one more question from you guys before signing off here. What do you guys got? Thank you, Beverly. Appreciate that. Thank you, Buck. Appreciate that. I just hope you guys enjoy what you guys watch. We got a lot of investigations up, and I know a lot of you guys are new to watching me. So, doing these Q&As and getting you guys to know me on a personal level and how I approach the paranormal will, again, give more credence to what you're watching while investigating and what's going on. So I think that's important. Um, but absolutely. Um, I've definitely been attacked by evil spirits, yes. Is Bigfoot a paranormal phenomenon? Do you think you'll ever encounter one? I've never had a Bigfoot encounter, but I have a theory about Bigfoot that it's a prehistoric man like creature that once lived, and it's a ghost spiritual being now. And all the characteristics to what people experience with Bigfoot, a ghost can do: wood knocking, footsteps, smells, rock throwing. This is all things that ghosts can do too, so it would also explain why it's so elusive and we've never captured a physical being. That's my opinion about Bigfoot. I agree. I would love to go to Skinwalker Ranch. Sounds good, darling. All right, guys. Well, yeah, especially guys, if you want to watch my content on YouTube, there's a bunch of paranormal videos on there. Just type in YouTube, Sean Austin Paranormal, or just go on the link for my TikTok, and I'll be going live on both TikTok here and on YouTube. So if you want to subscribe over there, make sure you turn on notifications. I didn't know if there were notifications on TikTok. Someone just told me this. I didn't know. So if you want to know when I'm going live, make sure you turn on your notifications on TikTok as well, if that is a thing. I'm just getting used to it, so you know, if you want to get notified when I'm going live, especially this month, because I'm going to be bouncing on a lot. And again, follow me on Instagram as well, because I'll be giving clues and updates to where I'm going and where I'm headed, and times to where the investigations will stop and start and stuff like that. So, um, again, if you have any questions, shoot me a message on my social media. Be glad to answer it for you, and I will do more of these. Definitely. Um, cool, Nancy. Sounds good, Jessica. Everyone have a wonderful evening. God bless. Be safe, and I will be jumping on soon. Hopefully tomorrow, whenever I can, on and off this week. And got some really hell of a crazy paranormal trips coming up for you guys that you guys will be uh, pretty stoked for, I'm sure. The adventures my buddy Eric and I are going to get on. So, thank you. Same to you, everyone. It was great talking with you. Great questions, and I will talk to you guys soon.